decided to make a quick video on an alternate way, what I'm going to call the lazy man's way, to replace the gear oil in a Dana hub, in this case on a 1999 F250 Super Duty 4-wheel drive. Some hubs, differentials, have a drain and a fill. In my case, I've only got a fill, and normally you have to take all the bolts out, drain it that way, put RTV gasket filler and all that jazz back in. I'm not all about that. I know this way doesn't get 100% of the fluid, but it gets enough. The thing takes about 3 quarts, so you can tell how much you're extracting using my method. What I've got here is a vacuum pump. You can borrow these from AutoZone if you don't want to buy one, but they're pretty cheap on Amazon. Mine's some random nothing brand. You'd use these for AC. Then I've got what I think is some 3/8" clear hose that I've just shoved onto the inlet port. It goes into this lid and is barely below it, like maybe 1/4 to 1/2 inch below it. Then I've got this other hose. This is longer. It goes through maybe 1 inch or 2 down. And this one is basically running in through the fill hose, or through the fill hole in my differential. And I've jammed it in as far in as I could get, kind of bending the hose and angling it down as far as I can. And then I just turn on the pump and I let it run. It sucks the vacuum through here, creates a vacuum in the jar, which then pulls fluid, which fills up the jar. Let's see if you can see this. I don't know if my camera is going to focus enough. Here, let's see if we can do it this way. Yeah, you can kind of see it dripping in. I have each one of these jars is probably about 1.5 quarts. I've already filled up one and emptied one completely, and it's filling up the second one. And I'm not gonna have to break the seal on my differential. I'm just gonna have to wait till I get most of the fluid out, and then I'll play around with the hose if I don't think I've gotten at least 2 and maybe 1/4 quarts out, and then that'll work for me. The fluid didn't look terrible anyways, but because I've never done the maintenance on this truck, I wanted to see what the fluid looked like. And so that's an alternate way to suck out the fluid out of your differential using pretty cheap tools. A vacuum pump like that can be used for transmission fluid. It can be used for like transfer case fluid. It can be used to suck out. In fact, what I did yesterday is I did a full power steering flush on that vehicle. Instead of using a turkey baster, I just use the same method to suck out a lot of the fluid from the power steering reservoir. And then you just turn the steering wheel back and forth, and it keeps pumping new fluid into the reservoir with the car off. You can really get that little hose in there deep and suck out all that fluid. And then when I actually pulled the line off and pumped it out, there was very little. There was maybe a cup of fluid left that I hadn't gotten. And so that was an easy way to extract all the fluid using a vacuum pump, a common jar with a metal lid, and some cheap vinyl clear 3/8" hose.